I ask, like, I normally say obviously where do you want to get to, and then I normally say like, oh, where in relation to that are you right now? So I can normally get a good range of their revenue and stuff like that, but it's then after that, after I kind of know their revenue and I suppose where they want to get to as well. That's when, obviously, if the revenue's like high, then I probably wouldn't ask because I probably just assume they do have enough. But if it's kind of like that borderline, like you just said before, if it's kind of like borderline, I'm thinking like they do have enough, but like after expenses and stuff like that, like it would be borderline. So that's when I ask, is there any money? Well, not in any money, but is there anything, any capital available to invest in like the right thing? Um,
Yeah, that question opens up the can of
yeah,
worms at that
I
point of like,
know
oh, well, that depends how much is your stuff and oh, what does it include? And yeah, that's a rabbit hole that's the territory you're getting yourself into. So
exactly.
it's
So
just
what would I
a
then?
skilled way of asking it.
What would I then
In,
ask once I found out where they want to get to and once where they're at right now in terms of revenue? And if it is kind of that borderline, what would I obviously rather than asking that question I normally ask, where would I kind of go from there?
Yeah, so I would first of all provide a bit of a statement, bit of an overview of context behind the question. So I'd be like, okay, so no, I appreciate you being open with me about that situation. Obviously, from our side as a company, we do provide solutions that ultimately help people to have the necessary systems in place, learn the skills they need to do what they want to do. Um, I guess my concern there, of course, is we do have a range of programs with different pricing, and of course, our game plan advisor would go through that with you because they have all of the necessary information and can relay it the best way to you. But yeah, my concern would be, and of course, I'm making the assumption here that let's say you loved what we do, it made sense, you wanted to get started. I suppose would there be an amount that would potentially work for you as far as putting capital into the business to develop these skills, right? And then you're putting the frame around, if they loved it and they wanted to get started, rather than just, I guess, throwing out there like, is there a number they're willing to put in? Because then from there they'd just be like, oh well, I don't know if I'd even like your stuff first. Like, can you tell me more about the program, what you guys are doing? You just want to kind of throw that and prevent that objection from coming up 100%, just by making that assumption of assuming you love what we do, assuming you want to work with us and actually have us come in and help you with this. And that's when I throw the range there. That's personally my way of doing it. I just find it more comfortable because then you're showing a level of upfrontness that you're a bit nonchalant. You don't really care what they think about the pricing. It just is what it is at that point. So that would be like my personal way of doing it. But for you, and obviously trying to avoid that a bit with revealing the pricing, um, I would just say, okay, like, is there a willingness, more or less? Assuming that we did have something for you that you loved, you wanted to do, like, would you potentially be willing to get started with that as long as it ticked all the boxes, right? Like that would be another way of doing it, a lot more softer and a lot less direct in terms of money. So at that point, they may say yes, a bit like not sure. And then, okay, I realized there was some uncertainty there. Will, can you help me understand what's behind that, just so that I'm on the same page with you? Right, everything's collaborative. I'm on your side. I want to understand what's going on for your benefit, though. Right, everything's collaborative. It's not like a tennis match where you're on this side, I'm on this side. It has to be like you're next to them. That's how your communication should look all the time. So, because it's obviously direct, it's very serious conversation, right? It's not comfortable either. So I would just look into, yeah, just willingness at that point, and is it sooner? Which you may have gathered obviously previously in the call, but that's one way you could ask that question to go just a bit of a layer deeper. But yeah, apart from that, don't dive too much into the weeds because at that point they'll ask you questions about the program, and you'll then put yourself in that position where you just have to tell them everything without looking like an arse, basically, which you don't want to do.